This is President Trump's first cabinet meeting of his second term, and here's the scene that kicked it off.
Thank you, God, for President Trump. Father, thank you for giving us this opportunity to restore faith in this country.
I've been covering religion for about 15 years. I haven't seen before this level of active conservative Christian participation coming out of the White House itself. Certainly Christianity is nothing new in the White House. President George W. Bush established the White House Office of Faith-Based and Community Initiatives, and presidents since then have had some iteration of this, reflecting the specific views of that particular president. But President Trump established just the White House Faith Office, based in the basement of the West Wing itself. And while members of the White House team talk about faith generally, the priority in practice has ended up being working with a lot of conservative Christian pastors, coming through the White House and doing impromptu hymn singing. Praying and laying on of their hands in prayer in the Oval Office, on the president, leading what they call listening sessions. And they'll kind of go around the room and say what's on their mind. Many of these pastors are not just spiritual leaders, but they're also social influencers. They often post photographs of their time in the White House, in the West Wing. The White House may benefit from this as a messaging strategy to reach their most devoted followers. When my colleague Ruth Graham and I were at the White House, we asked them about this kind of access for pastors specifically, and they were very clear that they see their work as answering a call from people in their communities across the country who they talk about as having been really afraid that their views would not have prominence in American life anymore. One of the first things that President Trump did was an executive order on eliminating anti-Christian bias across the federal government.
So many times you hear, but you don't hear the anti-Christian bias.
And he designated the White House Faith Office as a key partner in that action. The United States is actually one of the safest places in the world to be a Christian. But the phrase anti-Christian bias generally has become a catchphrase, especially for social issues that conservative Christians feel aren't accepted in broader American life, especially things like gender or their opposition to abortion. One pastor said to us that he doesn't see any rails on the limits of the faith office. Many of them talk very openly about not wanting church and state to be separate, for the Christian church to have more of a role in government and in leadership. They believe that they have another chance, a divine chance to act and have more power and to create the kind of change they want to see during President Trump's second term.